Okay, so what if I told you the most ambitious racing film ever made wasn't just about Formula One, it was actually part of it? Today, we are going completely under the hood of a blockbuster that didn't just invent a fictional F1 team, it went out and made it real, for real.
So here's how we're going to break it all down. We're going to follow the film's journey just like a race weekend. We'll start with a legendary driver's unbelievable comeback, then dive into the creation of this very real fictional team, and we'll take it all the way to a finish that shattered records both on and off the screen. All right, let's drop the clutch.
Every great story needs a hero. But the story of this movie, it actually starts with its star's own personal obsession, a quest that took a full 20 years just to get to the starting line.
I mean, this quote right here, it just says it all. This wasn't just another paycheck for Brad Pitt. This project was the finish line for a 2-decade-long personal mission to make the perfect racing movie. And you can feel that passion, that personal investment in the character he plays.
All right, so the movie throws us right in. We meet Sonny Hayes, this former F1 phenom who kind of washed out, and we meet him the very moment he pulls off a stunning win at the 24 Hours of Daytona. He's this driver who's haunted by his past, but this one incredible victory proves he's still got it. And that win, well, that's the spark that ignites an absolutely impossible comeback to the pinnacle of motorsport, Formula One.
So a legendary driver needs a team, right? Of course. But this is where the movie does something that, honestly, no one has ever tried before. They didn't just invent a team for the script, they actually built one and dropped it smack in the middle of the real F1 circus.
Say hello to APXGP, Apex Grand Prix. In the movie, they are the definition of an underdog, a team struggling at the back of the grid, basically on the verge of going bust. And the owner, an old friend of Sonny's, makes this huge, desperate gamble. He brings Sonny out of retirement to try and save the whole operation. And the way they pulled this off is just nuts. They literally embedded the fictional APXGP team inside the real F1 paddock. For 2 whole seasons, APXGP had its own garage between real teams, its own motorhome, its own cars, filming on track during actual Grand Prix weekends, from historic places like Silverstone and Monza all the way to the massive season finale in Abu Dhabi.
But look, having a team in the paddock is one thing. To make the action feel truly real, you have to put the actors in the driver's seat, for real. And to do that, well, that took some serious training and some absolutely groundbreaking new technology.
And what's a racing movie without a killer rivalry, right? At the heart of all the on-track action is this classic dynamic. You've got the veteran, Sonny Hayes, who's seen it all and is just looking for one last shot. And then you've got the ambitious young rookie, Joshua Pierce, who sees Sonny as a washed-up relic standing in his way. That tension, that's what really drives this whole story forward. And you want to know how they made that rivalry feel so real? They got the ultimate expert involved, producer and 7-time world champ, Sir Lewis Hamilton. I mean, think about it. As the director says, Lewis has literally been both of these characters. He was the sensational rookie who almost won it all in his first year, and he became the dominant veteran. His insight was absolutely crucial to making this feel authentic.
So the big question is, how did they actually film it? Well, the whole breakthrough came from Mercedes team principal Toto Wolff. He basically said, don't use a movie prop, start with a real race car. So they did. They bought actual Formula 2 cars, had the geniuses at Mercedes-AMG modify the chassis to look and feel just like an F1 car. And then, and this is the amazing part, they developed a brand new camera system. It was tiny, remote-controlled, and put the audience right there in the cockpit with the actors, who, yes, were actually driving these things.
Now, as you can probably imagine, this kind of realism, it does not come cheap. I mean, embedding a film crew inside a global sport, engineering custom race cars, inventing new camera tech. Yeah, it all adds up to one massive financial gamble.
$300 million. Let that sink in. That staggering number wasn't just for fancy trailers and A-list actors. No, that was the price tag for pure, unadulterated authenticity. It covered all the R&D, the custom engineering on the cars, and the just mind-blowing logistics of shooting a movie inside a live, globe-trotting sporting event. So did the $300 million bet pay off? Oh, you better believe it. The film raked in over $631 million worldwide. And here's the really interesting part. A whopping 70% of that money came from international markets. It just goes to show their strategy was dead on. They knew Formula One had this enormous global fan base, and that audience showed up in a huge way.
So the movie's story builds to this incredible, nail-biting, triumphant finish at the Abu Dhabi Grand Prix. And in what feels like perfect movie magic, the film's real-world performance at the box office had its own spectacular, record-smashing finish line.
Look at this. This wasn't just a win. This was total domination. The movie didn't just break one record, it tore up the history books. It became the highest-grossing auto racing film ever made. It was a new career best for Brad Pitt. It was the biggest blockbuster ever for Apple Studios, proving their whole strategy worked. And it landed as a top 10 film of the entire year. This thing wasn't just a movie, it was a cultural phenomenon. After a victory that huge, both on the screen and in the real world, you just know the story can't end there, right? The success was so massive that the question on everyone's mind was, okay, what's next?
So is this it? Is this the end of the road for Sonny Hayes and APX GP? Or was that just the first lap of a brand new racing franchise? Well, it sounds a lot like the team is already getting back in the garage for another season.
Yep, the checkered flag on this film was pretty much just the green light for the next one. You've got everyone from the CEO of Apple to the director and producers all saying a sequel is already in the works. They're already back at the drawing board with Lewis Hamilton, figuring out what's next for Sonny, Joshua, and the whole APX GP team. It seems like this incredible underdog story is far from over.